Just start with your name and what kind of fiction you like to write.
Okay. My name's Elizabeth DeWitt. I like to write short stories, mostly more or less moments from my own life. I think writing for me is something really personal, really vulnerable. It's kind of indescribable to take something so abstract from your own mind and turn it into something real that you can share with someone else, and then maybe have that moment where they can say, yeah, I know what you mean, I've been there too. It's really what it's all about.
My name is Reem, and I am a fiction writer. I write mostly fiction, poetry, and creative nonfiction sometimes. The reason why I write is that I feel like I owe that to myself and where I come from, to tell a story that nobody heard before through my eyes. So that's one of the reasons why I love writing.
My name is Jack Wagner. I'm primarily either a dystopian or historical fiction writer. And I like writing that sort of stuff because I get to make worlds that people find interesting but don't have to agree with. I think one example is a story I'm working on in New England back in the 1600s, late 1600s, which is the Puritan era. And a lot of people have their perceived conceptions of those people in that time. But if I'm able to write a story about someone in that time in a way that humanizes him and I guess convinces people now that he had, or they, the Puritans, had their own motivations and thought what they were doing was right, or whatever it was they were doing. It convinces people that it's not just them that matter, and you can empathize with anyone, really. And you can do that in fantasy too. That's one of the greatest things about fantasy, is that you can just make stuff up and people will believe you. As long as it means something, and as long as people can connect with it. That's what's important to me.
I'm Kyle Reyes. I write mostly fantasy. That is the majority of my reading, and it definitely shows through in my writing. Fiction is a great place to, through this lens of these characters, experience things that you haven't in your life and may never in your life, and you're able to transport yourself away from whatever situation you are in and almost experience these characters' lives and the events in this fictional world. And I think that creating those stories is really important for anyone to read, anyone who is looking for just that. I know I certainly was when I was younger, being able to read about characters who did crazy stuff, all of the insanity that happens in a lot of these fictional fantasy stories. Reading that was really, really awesome, and that inspired me to write my own stuff, so that hopefully someday people later on can read my stories to escape into this fantasy world and live through the eyes of these characters.
Well, my name is White Demersky. I primarily write in fantasy or science fiction, but I like writing realism, absurdist stuff, especially in my short fiction, but whatever my heart desires, I suppose. I don't know, I feel very reactionary. Like whatever I read or whatever I experience in my life, I'm like, oh, I just gotta jump out and put whatever I just experienced, whether it's a book or meeting somebody or just like an event, a very strange event or occurrence, I like writing about those. I like to translate that into, some kind of medium where I can share it in an organized fashion with other people, I suppose, because I tend to mumble when I talk.
Sarah Sasala. I like to write just because I like to like create things. I like words and how they like fit together. I like sort of like creating images out of nothing and just like using, you know, words in different ways or different couplings and different combinations to mean different things. And that's something that interests me and that I find like worthy of experimentation.
What have you taken away from our English writing workshop?
I would say primarily, and this is the honest truth, is that there are some really fucking good writers out there, and that I've been humbled quite a bit.
How differently everyone is approaching writing. I feel like everyone has their own style and their own voice, and everyone is picking these topics that are also unique and different from one another.
Always love the feedback about my work because it not only, you know, shapes what I want to revise at least, but it gives me, it opens my eyes to different possibilities and ideas that I could go in my writing.
I guess I've had a lot of those moments, I guess, in this class where just a lot of moments that I can see in other people's writing. There's just a lot that, you know, we all have in common, no matter what kind of lives we're living. And it's really great to find that community and just, to share that with people.
I like Bill's like output a lot. He like has so many interesting comments and like ways of looking at the stories. So I like hearing like what he has to say about that.
So my name is Bill Lychek, and I am a fiction writer primarily, though I do nonfiction and poetry as well. Then I'm also a writing teacher here at Pitt. From our class specifically, I learned from you guys to trust you, to trust I've never been disappointed when I've put my trust into the students. My lesson was that trying to do a little less was doing more, and I was trying to meet the students more with what they needed rather than what I thought I wanted to impart on them.
I'm Spencer Hahn. I'm the creator of this video. I'm also a student in the English writing workshop. So I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoyed the diverse amount of voices you got to hear from.
Yeah, so that's it.